You ever look at two farms, maybe right next to each other, and wonder why one is just overflowing with crops while the other? Not so much. It's a fundamental question, really. It's about how we feed the world. So today, we're going to break down what exactly makes a piece of land productive. All right, let's get into it.
Yeah, that's really the big question, isn't it? Why can one field literally feed a whole village while another one, just a few miles away, can barely support a single family? Is it something in the dirt? Is it the person working the land? Is it about money? What's the secret sauce? Well, as you're about to see, there's no single answer. It's more like a stack of ingredients all working together. Okay, so before we get too deep, let's make sure we're all on the same page with one key term: productivity. It sounds simple, but in this context, it has a really specific meaning. We're talking about the average output of a crop per unit of land. So you take your total output, how many tons of wheat you grew, and you divide it by the area you used to grow it, whether that's acres or hectares. It's a simple little formula, but man, does it tell a complex story. So, to really unpack that story, we're going to build this thing I'm calling a productivity pyramid. We're going to start at the very bottom and work our way up. First, we'll look at the natural foundation, then we'll add the human element. After that, we'll talk about the economic toolkit, and finally, we'll put the capstone on top, the government's role. Let's do it. All right, first things first, the base of our pyramid. This is literally the ground floor. It's everything you're given to work with before you do a single thing. Think of it as the hand that nature deals you. So what's in this base layer? Well, it's all the stuff that's just there, the inherent qualities of the land itself. You've got the obvious things like the fertility of the soil and the local climate, rainfalls, sunshine, the whole deal. But it's also about stuff like the slope of the land. And then there are the things you can't even see, like the specific chemical and biological properties of the soil. All of that together, that sets the absolute baseline potential of what that land can do. But here's the thing. You can have the best land in the world, and it means nothing without someone to work it. That brings us to the next layer of our pyramid, the human element. This is all about the people, their decisions, their skills, and honestly, their motivation. And this comparison just nails a really key point from the source material. Who owns the land matters a lot. Think about it. If you're an owner, you have every reason to work your tail off and invest for the long haul, right? You want to make that land better for yourself, for your kids. But if you're a temporary tenant, well, your incentive is different. You're probably more focused on getting what you can out of it right now, and you're way less likely to make those big, long-term investments. And it's not just about wanting to work hard, it's about knowing how to work smart. An experienced, wise farmer can get so much more out of the exact same piece of land than someone who's untrained. They know which crop is perfect for that particular soil. They know the right time to plant. They know how to handle pests. That knowledge, that skill, it can be a total game changer. Okay, so we've got good land and a skilled, motivated farmer. We're getting there, but what's next? Well, now we need to add the third layer of our pyramid, the economic toolkit. This is where we talk about capital, scale, and access, all the tools that can totally supercharge what a farmer's able to do. And just to show you why this is so critical, check out this number from our source. In India, something like 80% of farms are small. We're talking less than 2 hectares. Now, think about that. When your land is divided into these tiny little plots, it's basically impossible to use modern efficient machinery like big tractors or combine harvesters. You're limited right from the start just by the size of your operation. This is also where direct investment in the land itself comes in. And these aren't just little fixes, these are permanent upgrades that change the land's potential forever. We're talking about digging a well to get a reliable water source, putting in proper irrigation systems, adding fencing to protect your crops, and making sure you've got good drainage so your fields don't flood. Each one of those steps makes the land fundamentally more productive. And beyond those permanent upgrades, capital is what gives you access to all the good stuff. The things that boost your yield year after year. Things like improved seeds that grow better, chemical fertilizers that enrich the soil, and of course, modern machines and tools that make the work faster and more efficient. Without that capital, you're pretty much stuck in the past. And you know that old saying, location, location, location? Well, believe it or not, it's a huge deal in farming too. Being close to a market means it costs you way less to transport and sell your crops. And what does that mean? More profit. And what can you do with more profit? You can reinvest it right back into the farm, creating this amazing positive feedback loop of ever-increasing productivity. And hey, just so you know, we're not making this up. This whole framework, all 10 of the factors we've been talking about, from the soil to the government,
They come directly from this textbook analysis on agricultural economics. See, our pyramid is really just a way to structure all that expert knowledge and make it a bit easier to digest.
All right, that brings us to the final piece, the very top of our productivity pyramid, the government's role. This is kind of like the safety net, the big picture stuff that supports everything else we've built.
See, in a lot of developing countries especially, the state plays this absolutely vital role. They can step in and do the huge projects that no single farmer ever could, like building massive irrigation canals or dams. They can also help by subsidizing the costs of important inputs, making things like better seeds or fertilizer more affordable for everyone. These kinds of actions can literally lift the productivity of an entire region.
So when you put it all together, you see that productivity isn't just one thing. It's a whole system. It's like we've been saying, it's a pyramid. You start with that natural foundation. You build on it with the human element, the skills and the drive. Then you empower those people with the right economic toolkit, and you support that entire structure with smart government policy. Every single layer depends on the ones below it.
And that really leaves us with one big question to chew on. As our world keeps changing, with challenges like climate change and a population that's still growing, which layer of this productivity pyramid do we need to focus on the most? Where should we put our energy? Is it in developing new tech for that economic toolkit? Is it about better education and training for the human element? Or is it about smarter, more supportive policies from the top? That, right there, is the big question for the future of farming.